First of all, Robert Lombardi's sponsorship tonight, it's rather lengthy. It's a piece that he took from the Twitter page of the novelist Hari Kunzru. Now that's spelled Hari, as in Hari Krishna, maybe. And the last name is Kunzru, Kunzru. And Robert sent this in as his sponsor message. He says, Mike, you need to read this only once because it is kind of lengthy, but it is very well done. And well, let me just share it with you. If I had some kind of background music to play here, I would probably play it. But anyway, this is what the novelist Hari Kunzru wrote. Quote, I feel I may have to individually insult every member of the outgoing administration in crude and personal ways. Mike Pence, you repressed, joyless, would-be witch-finder, every time you spoke, you always looked like you were straining to expel an enormous bolus of your own hypocrisy from your clenched sphincter. Betsy DeVos, you blandly foolish, soulless, entitled, child-stealing witch, rotting like a corpse inside your Chanel suit. All the generals, you spineless, buzz-cut, phallus-brained plastic Spartans, fawning and wriggling to distract yourselves from your moral cowardice. Kayleigh McEnany, you evacuated husk of a mean girl cheerleader. The cavity where your heart once was is pumped full of spite and moronic lies. Jared Kushner, you vacuous, dainty, preening, overpromoted nub of mediocrity, squeezed like an entitled smear of toothpaste into a silk suit, bought with tear-stained dollars wrung out of the suffering tenants of your slum apartments. Ivanka Trump, you monstrous slug of vanity, you infantile ninny, so marinated in self-regard that in your pea brain you believe we ought to love you for your crimes. Mike Pompeo, you bubble, you booby, you flatulent zero, that roiling in your ample gut that you mistake for world-shaking significance is just the acid reflux of irrelevancy. Don Jr., you scabrous, single-nostriled, unloved, elephant-murdering human wreckage, vibrating with bitterness and impotent rage at all the opportunities you've squandered. Sarah Sanders, you crude, hulking, beetle-browed bully, working your multiple chins as you masticated another stinking quid of falsity, spitting again and again on the people you were supposed to inform. All you staffers and interns, so eager to crunch your way in your shiny new work shoes over the bodies of the poor and powerless, I smite you and cast you out one by one. Eric Trump, you pallid, clammy, suppurating, nocturnal, semi-human grub. Your absence of charisma is your only notable trait. And the act of flushing you from memory will be so smooth and painless that in a month people will find it hard to picture your moon face. Rudy Giuliani, you capering, cartoonish, skull-faced bag of graft and corruption, too stupid even to ask who's pulling your strings, just so long as you can cake your crusty face in TV makeup and clack your jaw at a camera. And of course, Stephen Miller, you weeping pustule on the social body, you dreg, you homunculus, you noxious slime felched from the gaping cavity of Jim Crow, One day may you find yourself walking barefoot across hot sand, desperate for water, crying for your missing child. End quote. Hari Kunzru. Woo! Oh my goodness. Well, thank you, Robert Lombardi. Good piece. Couldn't have sent it better myself. Couldn't have come close to saying it even equal to that. Thank you, Robert. One of the, boy, I got to recover here for a moment. That's some pretty absolute, right on, targeted observations of these slime who have vacated the halls of leadership in this country, leaving behind an ungodly mess. And by the way, this afternoon, when Joe Biden gave another one of his talks to the country about, prior to his signing 2 more executive orders, what a relief. Oh my God, what a relief to listen to what he had to say. I don't know what he's going to do. I've said before, there are a lot of things in Joe Biden's past that are singularly irritating to me that he did as a senator. Legislation that he either proposed, sponsored, wrote, or otherwise was involved in. Okay. But what I've heard so far, how long has it been that he's been president? Oh, that's right. 2 days, and as I record this, maybe 4 hours. But everything I've heard from Joe Biden as president of the United States begins to not just restore an element of hope inside me, but puts in full contrast the filth and destructiveness of this son of a bitch, Donald Trump, and what he did to the country over 4 years. And my only hope is that justice does prevail, that there are 17 Republican senators who have the decency, the respect for the oath they took, although that's kind of iffy, to convict this son of a bitch for history's sake and for the sake of this country. Fuck all this talk about, it'll divide the country. This country couldn't be more divided. You want healing? Convict this son of a bitch. And then let's move on. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.